Thank you.
We can start from the first question. Okay. When did you realize that social media was a huge impact for business entrepreneurship?
Probably in 2006-07. The combination of YouTube and Twitter really stuck with me. A little bit earlier with MySpace, probably in 2005. That was the first time. I saw Friendster in 2003-04, but I didn't understand it for business yet. But I did start a Wine Library MySpace page. So it was already starting to come in my mind, but I would say 2006 to 2007, that February 2006 to February 2007, and that year, that 12, 18 months changed my life.
Oh, and some people may come up, cope with failure, especially if it's their first failure. And how did you handle that? How did you cope with that?
I was very fortunate. I was a failure my whole life.
Oh,
When you're a bad student, you're used to failure. I was a bad student. I loved sports. I played a lot of sports, but I wasn't great at sports. So I was dealing with adversity and failure. When you're an immigrant, when you don't come from much, when you're little, I was a little guy, when you're bad at school, there was nothing that was, and then I was a businessman, so when I would knock on doors and ask to wash somebody's car, 90 out of 95 people said no. When I stood there at a lemonade stand, 100 cars would drive by for every one that would stop. So I was used to failure. Failure was my foundation, which is why I succeeded.
Which is why you were not afraid to, go zero.
Most people are, follow rules, go to school, do the right thing, and create a scenario where failure is scary.
Okay, what is misconception that people still have for social media today?
That it's for only young people, that it doesn't really mean a lot to business, that it's not, that it's light. I don't think people understand how powerful it is. It's the foundation of communication. It's so important. But I think still people underestimate it as something that younger people do, or that it's just not as important as other mediums.
What do you see in a person in terms of potential before you hire them to become your employee?
There's a lot of things. It might just be perseverance. I like their grit. With Pino, it was talent. He just was so talented. It was obvious. Emotional intelligence. I'm very big on hiring people if I think they're kind. I feel like you can teach skills, but kindness I think is super powerful. Pedigree, if they've done it, a lot of times I like hiring people who I can see have done that task multiple times in the past successfully. I'm a very funny hirer. I could hire somebody who's done the same, if I'm hiring somebody and like a lawyer and she was a great lawyer for 15 years, I'm like, oh, I like that. But then I could hire the next lawyer just because I think I like them as a person and they say they're a lawyer. So I can run very hot and cold when it comes to hiring. I look for either black and white or intuitive gray.
And how do people do to maximize it? And is there any, underused social media platforms over there outside Instagram?
So I think what you're referring to is I'm very passionate right now about Instagram story ads. So the ads in the stories, very underpriced, very underutilized. I think LinkedIn organic reach is underutilized. I think YouTube pre-roll, when it's done based on search query, is underutilized. I think podcast pre-roll is underpriced. So there's a lot of things that I think are underpriced or underutilized. Those are 4 things that I think.
Okay. And also, do you have any advice for people who want to start their their image on social media? Do you have any advice?
Take a step back and figure out if you want to write, if you want to do audio, or if you want to do video. It starts there, because if you're trying to build a personal brand, a reputation, a media property, a publication, a content hub, you need to communicate. And everybody communicates differently. I have a gift with words, and I'm not scared of the camera, so I can do a lot of things. But I'm not a good writer, even though I've written 5 New York Times bestselling books. I need Stephanie Land, my ghostwriter, to take my audio and structure it, because I'm not a good writer. So if the world was only social media where you had to write paragraphs, I'd become a better writer out of practice, but it's not something that comes natural to me. So for anybody who's reading this or listening or however you're doing this, you have to ask yourself how you communicate first. After you figure that out, then you pick your medium. So if you're a great writer, it could be a blog, it could be LinkedIn, it could be long form written on Instagram, Facebook. If it's audio, podcast becomes mandatory. And if it's video, obviously a vlog or some sort of show on YouTube becomes a great start. And then you produce a lot of micro content from your macro home of your hub of your content.
Okay, in your speech earlier that you said that people should live by themselves. I mean, not listening to other people's opinion, especially their parents.
Yes.
Sometimes it's very hard in Indonesia. And can you elaborate more on not listening to your parents?
It's not that I want to be disrespectful to parents or things of that nature. It's just that, ultimately at the end of the day, one day you're going to realize your life is yours and there's a lot of people important to you that surround it, but ultimately it's yours. And I just think it's actually practical to be selfish and on the offense in your youth. Most people in their youth think it's time to grow up, but they're 18, 22, 25, 29 years old. And so I think the social pressures normally from parents or other friends starting to make money or have success hurts people. Yet I think that rushing into relationships, jobs, is just not a smart strategy. So I'm talking about it and I'm hoping that people are listening because I do think that it's very hard to tune out your parents. I have empathy for that. However, it doesn't make it wrong. Just because it's hard, to me, to be very frank, the harder something is, the more likely it's fantastic. So I really meant what I said on stage, which I haven't articulated that way often, which is I'd rather people struggle with their parents in their 20s and 30s so that they can have a great relationship with them in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s versus always having a problem with your parents. And once you start living your life based on what your parents' expectations are or anybody else's, you've begun the process of not being happy. That is just the truth. Who's happy doing something that they don't want to be doing? Nobody. You may be content, you may deal with it, but you're not happy.
Well, also, I really want to know about, people now start using Facebook for business and also Instagram and also Twitter. What about future? I mean, do you think there will be any platforms which more advanced in terms of engaging people?
Yeah, I think there'll always be more stuff, new stuff. I don't think Facebook and Instagram are forever. I'm excited. I'm waiting for the next big thing. I can't wait. I think there'll be more platforms. I think audio is going to have platforms. Then eventually there's going to be virtual reality and augmented reality. Yeah, so I think there'll be more platforms, new platforms. I think it's kind of like television shows, right? Some television shows have 1 season, some have 13. That's how I think about social networks. Some will last 3 years, like Vine, and Facebook's on 15. It was a big show. So, but I think there'll be evolution. And eventually, this is not going to be the most important thing.
I'm afraid.
Don't worry. But think about how important it is. You're afraid for me to even hold it. It's the most important thing to us right now. Eventually, it won't be. There might be some new. There's some 8-year-old girl right now in some rural place in China who's going to invent something that is going to affect all of us. And it might be a little robot that follows us around, which is better than a phone. Could be. Why not? Because I promise you, if we showed our great-great-grandparents this phone, they'd think it's crazy. So, yes, the world will continue to evolve, and there'll be new things all the time.
How should people anticipate that? I mean, moving on from Friendster to Facebook takes time.
Yeah. I think the way you anticipate is moving quickly once you see it, instead of worrying about if it's coming. I never spend a second thinking about what's next.
You never feel dogged, anything?
No, I never think about, and think about it, usually people that are at the top worry about that. You worry about keeping your lead. What I'm good at is recognizing when something has happened. So I always watch, whether it was Vero or Marco Polo or Peach or all these things that have happened in the last couple of years that right now people are like, what? What was that? They had a minute, a day, a week, a month. I watched, but I'm putting out content on TikTok right now. I'm watching, but I'm not crippled. I wait. More importantly, Everybody's worried about what's next. I'm worried about what's most effective. Right now, I'm focused so much on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's been around for 20 years or 15 years. Like, so things get hot sometimes out of nowhere that have been around. Worrying about what's next usually comes at the expense of taking advantage of what's current.
Actually, that's kind of my question.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Can I have his photos?
Sure.
Sure.
Or should I take it?
However you want.
Okay.
That's great. It's
It's
okay.
I'm just gonna post it for.
Got it.
Gary,
1 second.
see you around.
Oh,
I'm leaving. Thank you so much.
you're welcome, buddy.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, bro.
You inspire me.
Thank you, bro.
Many things.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Keep
much.
doing it.
Thank you. Can I just grab one
Yep.
quick picture?
I'll be right there.
1, 2, once more.
Mhm.
1, 2.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ira.
Yeah.